Okay, thank you for organizing this great event and for this opportunity to present my research, Can Corporate AI Adoption Backfire? I'm Joanne Chen from Finance Department, and this is joint work with Brandon Han from the University of Maryland. Let's start with a quick glance at the AI adoption in the US today. According to a survey by the US Census Bureau, businesses in the US are rapidly embracing AI, especially sectors like information, professional, scientific, and technical services, and so on. So this reflects the growing importance of AI in today's economy, especially in the data-driven and tech-heavy fields. So broadly speaking, AI can be categorized into generative AI and predictive AI based on its functions. For example, ChatGPT, Sora, Claude, they are all generative AIs. They are being heavily discussed nowadays. In this study, however, we are going to focus on the other type, predictive AI, which uses machine learning algorithms to do data analysis and make predictions. Firms in the US are increasingly adopting predictive AI in their decision-making process. They usually combine the advanced data analysis and predictive algorithms provided by AI with human expertise to improve the decision-making process. For example, L'Oreal and Unilever, they have implemented AI in their recruitment process, leveraging the machine learning techniques to identify identify those top tier candidates. And EQT Ventures, they developed an AI platform called Motherbrand to rank those potential investment opportunities by analyzing factors like financial metrics, web traffic, team composition, and so on, so as to help the venture capitalists to pick those profitable investments. So we can see there is increasing enthusiasm and optimism for corporate AI adoption, driven by the prospect of efficiency gains. Underlying this trend is the implicit assumption that as long as the AI technology is reliable and error-free, it can increase the firm's profitability and benefit shareholders. However, this assumption merits closer examination. So when we think about corporate AI adoption, it's more than just the technology itself. Organizational and corporate governance considerations also come into play, right? For example, are there corporate governance challenges that may harm the corporate performance because of AI? So if those challenges are not properly dealt with, could AI adoption ultimately backfire? This motivates our paper, and in this paper, we ask the following research questions. Will corporate AI adoption and the AI assistance necessarily enhance corporate efficiency? And can AI adoption still backfire even when the predictions are reliable? If so, what are the potential solutions and the remedies? We take a theoretical approach, and this paper is based on the optimal contracting and behavioral economics literature in economics and finance. It also related to the machine learning literature in computer science. So let's take a look at the main results of the paper. Shareholders hire a manager to acquire information and make investment decisions. We find that when the manager's information precision increases, shareholders' profits increase as well. However, after adopting AI, the additional information provided by AI can sometimes reduce shareholder profits. In other words, AI adoption can indeed backfire, and we find sufficient conditions for AI adoption to backfire. So namely, the manager's information is already relatively precise without AI, and the manager's private benefit is neither too small nor excessively large. Then we propose a remedy, which is AI contingent contract, to deal with these kind of problems. So basically, we link the manager's compensation to the AI predictions. Before discussing the results in detail and explaining the mechanism, let's walk through the model. So it's a principal agent model. In this model, like the risk-neutral shareholders, they are the principal, referred to as she. The agent is the manager with risk-free, with risk-neutral, with limited liability, referred to as he. At time 0, there's a project with investment called C. The project is risky, while the payoff is normalized to 0 or 1. The probability of success is P. P is unknown to both the shareholders and the manager. So after being hired, the manager learns about P and makes an investment decision. He can either approve this project or reject this project. The manager may privately receive B from project approval. For example, say like side payments or personal perks, like hiring friends or relatives or enjoying luxury travel because of the project approval. This private benefit is not observable nor contractable. The manager and the principal, they can contract on the manager's decisions and the project outcomes. So basically, the manager will receive a higher pay if the project succeeds and a lower pay if the project fails. In reality, it is reflected in the stock-based compensation. The principal may want to adopt AI to help the manager in this decision process, basically learning about P. So if we take a closer look at P, there are two components, the hard information component P1 and the soft information component P2. So in this model, we capture the distinction between AI and manager in acquiring this information. AI is able to process vast data and a lot of variables. So we assume like in the extreme case, AI can precisely estimate P1, but AI cannot acquire any soft information, so AI cannot learn P2 at all. In contrast, human manager is able to acquire both hard information and soft information, but due to limited cognitive capacity and limited attention, the manager is only able to obtain noisy information on P1 and P2. We use Q to denote the precision of this manager's information. So this is the setup model. Under this setting, we find that if the human manager is the one to acquire information and makes the decision without help of AI, then the human manager is able to approve will approve this project if and only if both signals are good. So he will reject all other projects. And the manager will never act according to his private benefit. So in this case, the first best result is achieved. And if the manager's information precision increases, so the manager gets more precise signals on P1 and P2, he's able to make better decisions. With larger probability, he will accept those projects with higher quality. And the shareholders' profit will increase as well. However, if the firm adopts AI, with AI, the manager is able to obtain more precise and nuanced information on P. So basically, in this model, the manager is able to directly get P1 based on the information provided by AI. Then, let's use mu to denote the manager's posterior expectation on the project success probability B after acquiring all this information. With this more nuanced information, then the manager will reject those projects with relatively no posterior and approve those projects with high posterior. So for those projects with the posterior in the middle, the manager will decide according to his private benefits. Basically, if there exists private benefits, the manager will approve the project. If there doesn't exist private benefit, the manager will reject this project. So if we compare the case without AI and with AI, basically without AI, the manager's information is coarser. So the manager can only group those potential projects into several groups. For example, 4 different groups with one group of projects that are very promising and other groups that are not promising and they fell far below the approval threshold C. So in this case, even some bad projects provide private benefits, the manager finds it's suboptimal for him to approve those bad projects, because his compensation is sensitive to those project outcomes. But in the case with AI, like the manager gets to know P1 precisely. So the granularity of information increased substantially. Because of that, the manager can not only distinguish those very good projects and very bad projects, but also the manager can identify those mediocre projects. So the manager knows which projects they just fall below the approval threshold, but can generate private benefit to him. So it becomes more attractive for him to accept those projects. Okay, so yeah, so in this case, the manager will approve those bad projects, but generate private benefits to him. Under some parameter ranges, this effect can be so strong that from the very beginning, it's suboptimal for the principal to adopt the AI technology. So that is the key finding of this paper. Corporate AI adoption can backfire. We know that shareholders equip manager with AI aiming to boost profits. However, the combination of AI and misaligned manager can lower expected profits, which we call corporate AI adoption, can backfire. And this outcome is not driven by technological flaws or instability. Importantly, it stems from the organizational factors, these misaligned incentives. So we propose a relatively cheap solution, which is to make the AI's prediction public and verifiable and link the manager's compensation to the AI prediction. So we design the optimal contract in this case, and we find in this case, this problem can be fully solved. And yeah, so like I have last 1 minute, let me wrap up. These are the takeaways. Corporate AI adoption can backfire even if AI predictions are reliable. So designing contracts tied to AI predictions can serve as a remedy. And lastly, I want to highlight that it's essential to reevaluate corporate governance in the era of AI. Yeah. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and all questions and comments are welcome.
Fantastic. Great presentation.
Thank you.
Questions?
Hey, Joanne, thanks for coming. That was really interesting to show how you can use the AI to have more reliable predictions. How do you recommend having these contracts in industry? Like, how would that look like?
So that's a very good question. Like, to implement those contracts, basically, like ex ante, we can sign a contract showing that if the AI's prediction for the project success probability is high, then the manager's compensation is linked to that. For example, punish the manager more if the manager rejects that project. But if the AI's prediction for the success probability is relatively low, then maybe we punish the manager less if the manager rejects the project, but like more if the manager accepts the project, but it fails. Yeah, so basically like linking the manager's compensation to AI's prediction in this way, that can be helpful. Yeah.
Hello, thank you for your talk. So when you introduce like the information, like structure, there's like P1 and P2, like signals that's, I mean, that contributes to the ultimate success probability. Yeah. And the manager knows, or not knows, but gets signals about both, and then AI only gets to like precisely estimate the first component.
Yes.
What's like the motivation behind that? Is it like, can we think of it as like, like one is for some, like one aspect of the project, and then the other is for, other aspects that AI doesn't have like information.
Exactly. For. Yes. That's a very good interpretation. It's like there are many factors affecting the success probability of our project. Some of them can be captured by AI. For example, in the non-approval case, like the applicant's income, education, credit history can be captured by AI and analyzed by AI. But some other aspects, like the probability of strategic default, maybe only through human interaction. It can be captured, so only the manager rather than the AI can like get that information. So that's how we distinguish these two types of information. We think that captures the realistic consideration when we consider the probability of success.
Okay, thank you very much. Fantastic.
Thank you again for this.
Very relevant to the future of AI and what's happening in the real world.